Code Red, guys. Code Red. Nintendo listened. Nintendo just dropped another update for Mario Kart World. You remember the last one where they're like, hey, we fixed the 3-lap tracks. They're going to appear more often. This time, instead of 1% of the time, 3. Well, they just sent out a patch and updated the game once again, in affecting matchmaking in those 3-lap tracks once again. But they also added a bunch of other things, so let's read through them real quick. Transition. Okay, you can now join friends playing Knockout Tour by selecting friends from online play 1 player. Why wasn't this a thing? I don't really know what this means. Maybe it's because I don't have friends. I'm kidding, I have friends. They just don't have Switch 2s. Hey friends, I'm talking to you. Can you get Switch 2, please? Thanks. But yeah, apparently you couldn't join friends if they were playing Knockout Tour or something. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really gotten to experiment with the online and joining friends. I've done it a little bit with my brother, who actually has a Switch 2 in the game. Take that, friends. And I know we had problems just joining together, like all past Mario Kart games where you're trying to join them and you have to wait for a spot to open up and it never truly says a spot open up. This is the same thing with Splatoon. I still don't know why Nintendo doesn't just have a group thing where you can all just join a group, friend up, and then all join an online match together. Once again, Nintendo acting like they're living in 2015. Up to 2 players can now play free roam while waiting if the game was full when trying to join friends playing race, knockout tour, or battle in online play. So you and a buddy can mess around in free roam together. That's okay, I guess. Here's something that's interesting. The free roam map now displays the locations of P-switches you've run over and Peach medallions you've obtained. You can now select a P-switch from the map and move to a location near the P-switch as well. So this just feels like they are trying to take a step in the right direction, but still not quite where it needs to be. This is also something that just should have been in the base game. It makes me think that this game just was not completely finished and they rushed a portion of this, because how was there possibly no P-switch or Peach coin tracker? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, what's so stupid about this is it shows you the ones that you have collected, not the ones that you are missing. So if you're still missing some, you're gonna have to do like a side-by-side comparison with someone who's already 100% collected them all, which is just dumb. Nintendo, can you please just show us the ones that we're missing? I know they want us to explore the map and, you know, find them on our own, but people want to explore these P-switch missions and play all the ones that they have available to them. If they're stuck at like 300 or 200, they're going to want some help. So yeah, you're going to have to use some online guides for that. That's just silly. But you can spawn to the P-switch missions. For what reason? I don't know, in case you really want to replay some of them. I don't know how you're going to be able to remember which ones are which based on the name alone, but it also shows you the record time that you got from each of the missions. Now, what would have been really cool is, I know there's a lot of missions, but could you imagine if Nintendo actually allowed us to compete with others online to get the highest score? Like there was a leaderboard for every single P-switch mission. That would actually make me want to go back and play a lot of them again. I'm dead serious. In free roam, you can now transform into the character pulled into the UFO. If dash food in settings/controller is set to doesn't transform, then you will not transform. This means you can now easily just use the UFO, suck up a specific enemy, and transform into that enemy. Now, I don't really know the extent to this. Like, for instance, if you want to turn into the dolphin, can you even suck up the dolphins? And just finding them alone might be really difficult. But yeah, UFOs spawn more likely now. It's also part of the update. So you can use these UFOs, suck up these different NPCs, and you can actually transform into them now instead of having to get lucky with the Kamek item. I'm happy that this is a thing for people that haven't unlocked these characters yet. But oh my gosh, the hours that I've spent trying to unlock these NPC characters, I will never get back those hours. Nintendo, why? The conditions for the appearance of some Peach medallions in free roam have been adjusted. I caught you, Nintendo. It wasn't an error. Now, if you don't know what this means, in my super review for Mario Kart World, I talked about how that some of the Peach coins have weird spawns where you could come from one direction and it won't show the Peach coin. But if you come back from an opposite direction, it will show that Peach coin. And I thought it could be an error, but it seemed weird that that would be the error, because it happens to some of the coins, you know, a good chunk in the game, and some people have experienced them with lots of them. If you're not taking that exact path, it may not pop up. And I figured it probably wasn't a bug, but just some extremely strict way that Nintendo wanted you to come across these coins, which kind of made the open world pointless, because it's supposed to be the fact that you can drive around this giant open world and just find things and figure out how to get to them. The fact that they can be invisible coming from certain directions just makes it completely stupid, and they actually fixed this. This is a W fix. Once again, it feels like this was intended though at first for some reason from Nintendo, but regardless, it's fixed. Decrease the time between when an item box is taken by someone and the next time it is revived. Now this is a similar fix that they finally gave to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and this is a huge one that we needed for Mario Kart World. With all of these racers, it seemed like we were always having people in front of us take our item boxes, and when you get to the back of the pack and you don't get an item, you're just pretty much screwed. And yes, they spawn almost right away after someone already takes them, which I think is a positive thing. This helps people that are way back in the back of the pack, and especially if there's giant chunks of like 20 racers in one area, it gives the likelihood for everyone to get items a lot higher now, and I think that's a great update change. When spectating in Knockout Tour or Balloon Battle in online play or wireless play, you can now choose who to watch, even if you are holding the Joy-Con 2 or Joy-Con horizontally. Once again, cool. That kind of should have been there from the start. Increased the invincible time after spinning or crashing during a race. That means if you get hit or run into a car, the time that you have invincibility before you can get hit by something else is increased, giving you more of a cushion. Once again, I don't see anything wrong with that one. Reduce the force of jumps when landing on a rival from above. Now this was a huge one for people, not for me personally. I didn't really have too many issues with this, but yeah, pretty much when you land on someone's head in this game, you actually bounce, and you can even do tricks off of it. But this could throw you off the track, really mess up your race, especially when there's so many racers on one little track. But now that bounce has been reduced greatly. So once again, a really positive change that people have been asking for. They decreased the amount of time between when you finish and when spectating begins in Knockout Tour or Balloon Battle in online play or wireless play. That's cool. Decrease the amount of time between passing through the checkpoint and when the ranking is displayed in Knockout Tour and wireless play and LAN play. Also cool. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing. Further increase the frequency of lap-type courses appearing in the selection when choosing the next course in versus race in wireless races. Where have we seen this before? Yep, Nintendo had an update very similar to this 2 months ago where apparently they increased the frequency of 3-lap tracks, and we didn't notice a huge difference at all. In fact, I tested 10 races and I think only got 3 3-lap tracks of the 10, being 30%, and they came from random picks. They weren't given as an option. Well, I tested it this time, 10 races, and get this, out of my 10 races, 7 of them provided a 3-lap track option. And I'm not just talking about clicking random and it chose a 3-lap track. That's still probably an option. I'm talking about they literally gave me the option to just straight up choose a 3-lap track 7 of the 10 races. So for me, it pretty much flipped. Once was 30% 3-lap tracks that had 70% of them being intermissions, now switched to about 70% being 3-lap tracks and 30% of them being intermissions. I remember feeling so down after that update 2 months ago and not even like having interest in jumping back online. In fact, I didn't. But after this, I have energy again. I actually feel optimistic about this game, and it makes me actually want to play online a little bit more now. Now, this might be a little frustrating for, those intermission lovers. Do they even exist? So yes, the solution is for them to just have dedicated modes, but at least they're trying. You know what I mean? They're trying. And it's funny that this is coming straight after the release of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds this week, especially after Sega just dropped that insane trailer kind of taking a shot at Nintendo saying our game is not an open world simulator. But this I can get behind. I've actually noticed some huge differences. So it seems like the game is getting better for sure. But once again, I can't help but think, hey, they're slowly solving a problem that they originally created. Don't forget that we are at first able to choose random and always get a 3-lap track, and then they just removed it completely. Now they're slowly getting back to that, which is funny. I just wish they would actually update the game with new modes and stuff. I mean, it's been about 4 months now. Isn't it time for an update or some type of DLC, something? But as I do still think they have a long way to go with this game, I think this was a very positive update and possibly the first real beneficial one for the fans. Like, this is the one that we've been actually asking for. So let me know if you have had good luck when it comes to 3-lap tracks with this new update. Maybe it's just me and everybody else is like hardly getting them. I hope that's not the case, but from what I've seen online, looks like other people are having very similar ratios as well. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and of course, have yourself a blessed day. See ya, guys.